So I've been following Noah's Heart development for a while now, and luckily I finally got a chance to play it. Now, if you're my regular viewer, you know I mostly do Genshin Impact videos, but I'm always interested in the next open world game that's out there. And let me tell you, the open world here is in the most literal sense, because by opening up your map, you can scroll back all the way to this globe-looking world, and this is basically Noah's Heart. And when I played this game, I visited a lot of different locations, like the usual plains you would find anywhere else, mountains, basins, Arctic areas, and I still haven't had the chance to visit the rainforest. Basically, you've got a pretty huge world to explore, with tons of activities, hidden chests, and lots of other things you can do. Now, all the gameplay you're seeing was recorded during the closed beta test, and I did get reached out by the developers, and they wanted me to do a sponsored video for this game, which is awesome, and I appreciate the support. And if you like what you're seeing in the video or you're interested in the game, there will be an open beta test sometime later that you can join. So if you want to join it, make sure to use my links in the description or visit their official website. But anyway, you're probably wondering, what can you do in this game? Well, in my experience, the activities are kind of similar that you would expect from other open world games. You've got tons of collectibles you can find by just exploring the world. You can also go inside dungeons and fight with your phantoms, which I'll talk about later. And of course, there's lots of different activities outside of the world, like joining special dungeons or missions. But as I mentioned previously, I love the part where you explore the world. And in here, there's a couple of cool things you can do. Now, naturally, as someone who has played Genshin for up to 1,000 hours by now, you would assume that you can climb in this game, but that's not the case. Instead, you've got a couple of gadgets that help you out. The first one is a jetpack, and what I like about it is that it goes very high. And most of the chests I've been tracking down up in high places, you can easily reach it with a jetpack. There's also a grappling hook, and you know, as one famous YouTuber said, you can never go wrong with a grappling hook in a game. And I've mostly been using it to get on top of rooftops or climbing a tree. Oh, and you can also just use a mount if you want to go fast. In fact, there's also a neat little mechanic you can use to tame a horse. So if you want to become a horse whisperer, well, you can do that. But yeah, as I mentioned, the world is just littered with collectibles and stuff you can just mine, or catch some bugs, or fish, or do some logging if you want. And as I was doing the main quest, the pace of changing environment was also a welcome addition, since I mentioned there's lots of different zones. But I think that's enough about world exploration. And instead, I want to focus on the gacha system and combat. So in combat, besides the usual things you would expect like dashing, double jumping, managing your stamina bar, you could also equip on your character a single spell, main weapon, and offhand weapon. Now honestly, if this was it, then the combat would be extremely boring. But luckily, there's phantoms you can collect. Now these phantoms are basically the characters you collect in the game. Supposedly, they're based on some historical figures, like, you know, this foxy lady called Nico Tesla, or this one called Vivian Shakespeare. So, you know, to be or not to be, these will be the characters you'll be collecting. And let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff crammed into a single phantom. Now, what you'll be doing is taking possession of a phantom, which means getting their skills and abilities. Like, for example, this Kami Smith, where you gain 2 of his skills and an awakening power. So the skills by themselves, for example, a thunder spin, will be you dashing forward and doing a spin, dealing some damage. And then there's the second skill where you do this like quick stabbing attack, and then even a lightning comes out at the end. While finally, the awakening skill is basically like, you know, in Genshin the burst. So as you keep fighting, the rage meter will keep filling up, and then you can just unleash the awakening skill, and also witness the custom animation of the phantom you're using. And as I said before, you also gain the abilities, which is always going to be 4 abilities, the first one always unlocked, and as you can see, you gain a bunch of stat increases, which is not super interesting, but as you keep approaching the end game, this will become more important for you, I guess. Now you're probably thinking, so you only get to control a single phantom, you do not get to switch between several of them? The answer is a bit complicated actually. So when you're doing open world activities, yes, you only take control of one single phantom. However, when you start going into these domains, dungeons, realms, however you call them, that's when you can actually start building your phantom party. Like for example, there's this challenge called Realm of Chaos, and before you start it, you'll be at a character selection screen, so the first character slot is for possessing the phantom, while the remaining 3 are for summoning the phantoms. And as I said before, you can take possession of a single phantom, but the remaining 3 will be actually fighting alongside you, which is honestly pretty cool. I actually enjoy seeing the characters I collect fighting on their own, and since this is an action-oriented gameplay, you can build a lot of different parties. Like, as an example, when I'm going into the challenge here of the Realm of Chaos, I can select Kami to possess his phantom, but then I can summon Vivian, who specializes in healing, Nico, who is a ranged damage dealer, and finally, I don't want to be the only one who's fighting in close combat. So I also chose to summon Kage, who is a shadow assassin. And yeah, when you go into combat, these phantoms phantoms will be fighting on their own. They will be casting their abilities. If they have a supportive ability, they will cast it as well, so you can increase your own stats by using some kind of a support character. They can also fall in battle because they have their own health bars. So you probably want to have a healer, which in my case, I brought Vivian. And you know, I could keep going on, but this is basically traditional party building here. Although, one cool thing about it is that even if you summon the phantoms, you can still activate their awakening skills. And you'll see this energy or rage bar, however you call it, charging up. And once they're ready, you can just start spamming those awakenings. I guess one thing that's worth mentioning would be the deployed character skills. See, unlike Possession, this skill will only kick in once you deploy the phantom. So in Vivian's case, for example, she restores health to nearby allies, while someone like Kage, who is deployed, can increase the weak spot damage by a lot, so that's kinda cool. But yeah, lots of mixing and matching here, and since you don't really need to switch between characters like in Genshin, all you really have to worry about is your possessed phantom and managing their cooldowns. Now, it's impossible not to mention the gacha system, because this will be the place where you'll be obtaining the majority of your phantoms. I mean, yeah, you can get a lot of them from just completing quests or activities, but if you want to get an SSR, which is the highest rarity, most of the time it's going to be the gacha system. And right now when I'm playing, there's two banners. The first one is the standard, and the second one is friendship banner. If you played any kind of gacha game where it has a friendship system, basically you gain this currency by interacting with your friends, like sending over some kind of materials to them, or by doing like guild activities. And this banner has not the greatest rates for summoning SSR characters, but hey, this is just an alternative way you can summon for more characters. Now, as for the standard banner, there's one thing I immediately like about it. So there's this wish list you can select from, and in here you can put in 1 SSR and 3 SRs. And what it does is that it makes the wishlisted phantom to appear as a 50-50 chance, which is awesome, and it means you can literally just select any character you want and have your own mini little featured banner. The pity rate is also kinda nice, it's only 60 times you need to summon. So overall, the gacha system seems okay, and even the animation looks kinda nice. But yeah, that's basically the main systems I wanted to showcase in this game. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of different bells and whistles you can try out in this game. Like for example, I even forgot to mention the character creation, and there's like tons of different ways you can customize your character, because if you don't know this yet, these are the same developers who made Dragon Raja, so if you want to be very fashionable in this game, there's tons of different costumes you can choose from. But one last thing I didn't get a chance to showcase was the fact that you can explore this world with your friends, and also there's a guild system, so if you want to play this game with your friends or a community you belong to, you can easily do that. Still, as someone who does a lot of content about Genshin characters, I can tell you right now that the phantoms are actually intriguing to me, and I like the whole mixing and matching thing about them. It's fun to just take possession of a single phantom and go wild in the open world, but when I need to get more strategic, I can also build my whole party of them. But yeah, if you like the things I showed you in the video and you like the game, you can join the upcoming open beta test, and by visiting the official Noah's Heart website, which both can be done by using my links in the description, and you'll also help support my channel. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, I appreciate all of you, and see you next time.